What got you here won't get you there. Yeah, I know it sounds real cliche, and we've all probably heard that statement before, but I want to take a moment and really examine that statement today. Okay. Because, yeah, it might be cliche, but good gosh, there's a lot of truth in it. And today we're going to be examining principle number 6 that I've learned and distilled on what it means to be resilient. And principle number 6 is the standard rises with every win. Now, that may seem a little bit counterintuitive because, for most of us, it feels like, well, if I won and I did this, then if I did it again, then I should win again. Well, if you've ever run ads for a product, you know that ain't true, right? The ad campaign that you ran last year doesn't work this year. Okay. If you've ever communicated with your children, you know that's not true. The way you communicated with them 2 years ago doesn't work for you to communicate with them that way now, right? What got you here won't get you there. And the standard rises with every win. It's harder to win again. You have got to work harder for the next win. And so this is one of the things, we talked a little bit earlier in this series about principle number 4, being addicted to the result and not the process. And this is one of the reasons why we got to stay addicted to the result and not the process, because in the process, there are going to be wins. There are going to be wins. And it's human nature to recognize, oh, I won in this way. Let me just do it again and I'll win again. But that's not going to get us to the end. Because you see, every time you win, you've got to work harder to win again. Whether that's in sports, in life, anything, because things will change. The circumstances and the conditions that you had before aren't going to be the circumstances and the conditions you have now. Things will change. Okay? I take a look at my Washington Commanders, or Redskins, if you're a real OG fan, Redskins. But we look at the Commanders right now. Last season, they had a fantastic season. They were one game away from the Super Bowl, and everybody was elated. And they came into the season. Commanders are going to be Super Bowl contenders based on last year. And I remember watching us go to the NFC Championship game and saying, this is the worst thing that could have happened to us. The absolute worst thing, because it ain't easy to get back to an NFC Championship game. You came into the season with with a schedule based on your previous season where you sucked. And so you had one of the easiest schedules in the entire league. You won a bunch of games, and now you're coming to this season, the brand new season where everyone has all these hopes and expectations, with one of the toughest schedules in the league. You throw on top of that injuries, and all of a sudden, the team is underperforming. And there's turmoil in the coaching staff and blah, 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 blah. Because what it took to win last year, it's going to take more to win this year. And if we're not prepared for that, if we haven't gone through the suffering to make sure that we have the intestinal fortitude to be able to stand up and fight even harder, you're going to get stuck in the process and you're not going to get to the result. You're going to get stuck in the process and not be able to get yourself to the result. And so it's important to realize, it is important to know, and it is important to embrace. The standard rises with every win. And so how do we deal with this? Well, I can tell you what the greats have done, and you may rail against it. And when I say the greats, I'm talking about the greats in business. I'm talking about the greats in sports. I'm talking about the greats in life. Whether that's a stay-at-home mom, a stay-at-home dad, or an Elon Musk, or the president of a nation, or a great athlete. It really doesn't matter who you are. If you're going to be great, if you're going to be on the great, even at what you do, in order to raise the standard with every win, you can never be satisfied. Now, I don't mean that in the way of, oh my gosh, things are awful. I am not satisfied with the way things are right now. Things need to get so much better. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying the degrading, I'm not satisfied. Oh, I'm putting myself down. Oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, it's never good enough, which is what we do. We degrade our own performances and say, oh, but that's me not being satisfied and wanting more. No, it's not. It's a freaking cop-out. Stand up, own what you've done, take credit for what you've done, but still realize there's more to go and more to do. Stop degrading yourself. And I'm talking to myself right now, okay? I'm not really talking to you. I'm talking to myself. Stop degrading yourself. Stop saying you're not good enough. Stop living in imposter syndrome. Stand up, acknowledge there have been wins. I've been a part of wins. There have been losses. I've been a part of losses. I have created, I have done, but it doesn't mean I'm satisfied. Acknowledge where you are. Acknowledge what you've accomplished. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself the truth. We've talked about this already. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself the truth. Stop degrading yourself, but it does not mean you need to be satisfied. Now, let's talk about that too, because so many of us are unsatisfied because of comparison. So many of us are unsatisfied because of lack. You see, we need to be unsatisfied in abundance. Sounds a little counterintuitive, doesn't it? But you see, so many of us approach this unsatisfied place, mentality, from a place of lack. Oh, if I only lose 5 more pounds. Oh, if I only had, or, oh, if I were like so-and-so, then this would be. Screw all that. Screw all of that. Comparison is the thief of joy. Stop comparing yourself to anyone else. Stop comparing yourself to anyone else. I used to say the only person you should compare yourself to is who you were yesterday. I don't even say that anymore. I don't even look at myself like that anymore. Rather, I say, what is the most I can get out of today? What is the most I can get out of today? Let me go do that. Let me think about the next moment. Let me stop looking in the rearview mirror and let me look forward. What's the most I can get out of this moment? And when that moment's over, what's the most I can get out of the next? How can I maximize? That's never being satisfied. Yeah, that last moment was good. Yeah, we achieved something great. Woohoo! Let me go get the most out of this one. Now, one of the beauties of these principles is if you truly live them, life can start to feel a little bit lonely. Let me just be honest with you. Because most people don't live like this. And especially this one, number 6. Most people don't live like this. And we're talking about resilience. And we're talking about the lessons that I've learned from reading and studying over the years, but specifically more recently through 2 authors of Tim Grover and Cameron Haynes, of the greats and the principles that I've been able to distill in listening to all of their stories about being resilient and about how they see the world differently and they see resilience differently than everyone else. And here in number 6, the standard rises with every win and never being satisfied. This is the one that people truly, truly are not going to understand. The others, you may even be able to keep them to yourself or to a small core group of people around you who are helping you along the way. But this one, people are going to feel it in your presence. People are going to feel it in who you are, and they're not going to understand it. Not only are they not going to understand it, they're going to try to talk you out of it. And they're going to try to talk you out of it out of love. Hear me on that. They're going to tell you, why do you got to work so hard? Why do you got to always be so focused? Why is it always got to be, take some time off. It's okay. Stop and smell the roses of everything. Look at all you've accomplished. Bask in. And they're doing it out of love. They're not doing it out of spite. But you see, that is the exact thing that keeps you from the result. And so you've already lived a life where people around you don't understand. People around you don't understand you. But when you start to look at yourself in the mirror and you stop lying to yourself, you stop telling yourself the lies that they have put into your head, even that you started to tell yourself. When you start telling yourself the truth, you get down to principle number 6 and you realize, yeah, I am never satisfied. Yeah, let's go. That is my mentality. Let's do it again. Let's go harder. Let's go farther. Let's get to that win. Let's get to that result. And it's going to set you apart. It's going to feel kind of lonely. It is. It is. Because you'll realize that maybe even the person who sleeps next to you in bed doesn't understand. They don't get it. Maybe your kids don't understand. Maybe your best friend doesn't really have a clue. And that, my friend, is a reality that we live with. But that, my friend, is also why we need each other. You see, because it's people like me and people like you that actually understand each other. Now, I may not be on the same path and the same mission that you're on, but I understand the fight. And I understand what it takes. And I understand the pain. I understand what you go through. And sometimes that's what we need. And so, I'll say this to you in closing. There are two types of family. The family you're born into and the family that you choose. And so if you're sitting in a place where you know and you feel that people around you don't understand, you're living these principles, you're working to create these opportunities, and people don't quite get it, maybe it's time to look at the family that you choose. The family that you're born into, love them. But maybe it's time to look for a different family to choose. If you're in that place where you need a different family to choose, let me know. I may have some suggestions for you. I will see you on the other side, being resilient.